The Special Investigating Unit has raided the luxury home of businessman Hangwani Maumela.
His syndicate's remarkable. They were running these medical empires that were banking millions in weeks.
Guys, I'm here in Tembisa Hospital right now.
It almost feels like they're on the last looting spree.
There are records. There are records where people are talking, how they're controlling the system. This one is controlling that one is controlling this one. This one is going to handle this thing in this fashion.
We found 60 companies that one man controlled that were all in business with Tembisa Hospital, at least R500 million.
Just recently, a special investigation unit carried out a bold raid on the ultra-luxury home of Hangwani Maumela, who is also rumored to be President Ramaphosa's nephew.
There's no casualty in Tembisa Hospital. People have been turned back. And just imagine how painful it is, because my mom's house is not far from the actual hospital itself.
2 billion rands, that's how much money was stolen from Tembisa Hospital through questionable tenders.
The authorities are saying that these items are bought with the money tied to the Tembisa Hospital corruption scandal. Behind this raid lies a much deeper story. It involves corruption, connection to bigger names in politics, and other cases that were unsolved for years. But to understand how we got here, we have to go back to August 23rd, 2021.
But the point is that Hangwani Maumela has been moving in spheres of influence with networks of powerful people at the level of the president of this country.
That morning, Babita Deokaran, a senior finance official working for a Gauteng Department of Health, had just dropped off her daughter at school like she did every day. After she said her goodbyes, she drove here, Winchester Hills, Johannesburg. As she pulled up to her house, gunmen opened fire, shooting her multiple times in broad daylight. It wasn't a robbery or a random act of violence. It was a hit. Babita had become a target because of what she discovered inside Tembisa Hospital. While doing her job, she had stumbled upon a massive network of corruption where millions of rands were being funneled through fake companies, inflated tenders and manipulated procurement deals. She found irregular payments worth over 850 million rand, the money that was supposed to go towards saving lives. Then after that, she raised the alarm, flagged the suspicious transactions, and refused to look the other way.
Whistleblower Babita Deokaran was laid to rest in Phoenix outside Durban today. The senior Gauteng health official was shot multiple times outside her home in Johannesburg on Monday. She was a witness in the SIU investigation into Gauteng's PPE corruption.
Her findings were collected by the SIU, Special Investigation Unit, an investigation that will eventually cover billions of rands stolen, exposed groups of politically connected people involved in the corruption, and led to a bigger raids that are happening now.
As you can see, I'm at the house of Hangwani Maumela, who is accused of looting Tembisa Hospital tenders. Massive 3-story mansion in Sandhurst, Sandton. The SIU took 3 Lamborghinis yesterday. They are expected to continue with their raid today. How crazy is it that one person gets to own all of this by himself?
Since then, the SIU's interim report has shown that more than 2 billion were stolen from Tembisa Hospital through shady purchases, and 3 main groups have been identified: Hangwani Maumela, Rudolph Mazibuko, and the third unknown syndicate, which is listed as X-Syndicate. October 11, 2025. The Special Investigation Unit is raiding the luxurious house of Hangwani Maumela. During this raid, the SIU seized several very expensive vehicles. 3 Lamborghinis were taken, including the Urus SUV worth almost 5 million rand. It was seen to be new and it had less than 500 kilometers on it. They also took a Bentley Continental GT, an Isuzu D-Max, a trailer, and even a boat. Altogether, the value of these vehicles is in the millions of rand, with 60 million rand for the luxury cars, 86 million rand for the mansion, and 3 million rand for the household content. The total value of the attached property comes to a minimum of 149 million rand. This just shows how luxurious the lifestyle of these people involved was. I mean, the Sandhurst mansion itself is full of luxury. It had its own gym, a salon, a car wash, and even a lift. Photos from the raid show that the property is large and well equipped. According to the report, the SIU identify other luxury vehicles worth over 223 million rand, which belongs to this guy. It identifies numerous Bentleys and Lamborghinis. However, no Bentleys were seized during its recent raid. They also identify numerous properties linked to the Maumela. He has several homes in Port Zimbali, a coastal area known for its expensive estate and ocean views. One of the most notable properties is a mansion in Bantry Bay, which was purchased for astonishing 75 million rand in the most exclusive and expensive area in Cape Town. But the list doesn't stop there. There are also multiple properties scattered across Gauteng, including some located in high-end suburbs like Sandhurst and Hurlingham. The combined value of these Gauteng properties is estimated at around 151.3 million rand. Interestingly, the Sandhurst property alone is responsible for nearly half of that amount. Now, here's where things start to get interesting. How did he even manage to get these high-value government contracts? Well, turns out this man is well connected. Maumela is known to be a close ally of President Cyril Ramaphosa. In fact, he's related to Ramaphosa through marriage. He's reportedly a nephew-in-law to the president. That connection alone raised serious questions about how he managed to secure so many lucrative government contracts. And what's even crazier is that the president said he doesn't know that man.
47 years ago, I got married to his father's sister, his aunt. We divorced 43 years ago. And when I said to Honorable Steenhuisen in 2022, when he asked whether I knew him, I said I did not know him because I had never encountered him, I had never seen him, and that was gospel true.
Wait, but there is a footage which shows the two shaking hands outside Maumela's house, the very same house that recently got raided.
Later in 2023, as I was walking in the street in my neighborhood, I walked past a house. I was walking in a street where I usually walk, and even this morning, coming here, my convoy drives past that house with one of my colleagues who was my then advisor, who's now a deputy minister, taking a walk in the morning. As we were walking past a house which I saw in construction for quite a while, and I kept asking, whose house is this? It is a massive house. And I wanted to know whose house it is, and I never got the information. Walking there, a car comes past, and T-board touch or something like that. He gets out of the car with another gentleman. He wants to talk to me, to photograph and all that. Now we are against the wall of this massive house. And that's where the photograph happens and the video.
So this raises a question if Cyril Ramaphosa is also involved in the saga. According to reports, Maumela's companies received hundreds of millions of rands in tenders from various state departments. All of that is happening during Ramaphosa's presidency. And when the SIU started investigating Tembisa Hospital's suspicious payments, Maumela's name appeared over and over and over again, linked to fake invoices, ghost suppliers, and inflated prices. People are now asking, was Maumela protected because of his ties to the president, or was he simply part of a much bigger system, one that's been feeding off state money for years?
You must remember, this was an orchestrated process where all of these transactions were not a tender, because sometimes people don't understand. There was no tender. It was all the transactions that were below 500 million, and they were done with a three-code system.
500,000.
500,000.
Yes.
And they were done in a three-code system, and they manipulated the system such that only their companies were bidding against each other. And they did so many of them to reach 2 billion rand. We're talking about freezing not only cars and houses, but we are freezing even bank accounts. We are freezing crypto accounts. We are freezing all the investment that these people might have done.
Another key figure caught up in the Tembisa Hospital scandal is Vusmuzi Matlala, a man who's involved in corruption and criminal activities. Matlala is linked to at least 3 companies that were awarded contracts totaling 13,538,292 rand. The money that was supposed to go towards improving healthcare services, but instead ended up in the hands of corrupt individuals. Matlala's name has also came up in the Mazanga Commission of Inquiry, an ongoing investigation that is looking into allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. These allegations point to a worrying pattern: syndicates or organized groups of people infiltrating the criminal justice system for their own benefit. Matlala is believed to have played a role in some of these activities, which is why his case is drawing so much attention. Some of the accusations against him are particularly shocking. For instance, reports suggest that his private vehicles were illegally fitted with blue lights, the kind typically used by emergency service or police, and were registered as official municipal vehicles in Ekuhuleni. This meant that he could drive around with the appearance of authority, possibly intimidating others or gaining special privileges. But it doesn't stop there. Matlala is also allegedly connected to improper appointment of senior police officials and the awarding of lucrative contracts. Essentially, he is accused of using his influence to place people in important positions and benefit financially from deals that should have been handled fairly and transparently. On top of all of this, he is facing murder charges, showing that the legal troubles surrounding him are extremely serious and wide-ranging. Now, to be clear, there is no concrete proof that President Cyril Ramaphosa is directly involved in the Tembisa Hospital corruption scandal, but the connection between him and the alleged mastermind, Hangwani Maumela, is raising serious public suspicion. It feels almost too good to be true that the man accused of receiving hundreds of millions in government contracts just happened to be related to the president by marriage. In addition to a well-known syndicate linked to individuals like Maumela and Matlala, investigators discovered a third syndicate which has not been named publicly and simply referred to as Syndicate A. This group was connected to 1,237 procurement bundles, which are essentially contracts or sets of documents showing agreements for work and services the hospital paid for. The total value of these bundles was around 596,424,356 rand. The assets tied to Syndicate X were estimated to be around 150 million rand, showing that a significant portion of this money had been converted into properties, vehicles, or other available items rather than being used for its intended purpose. Just like the other syndicates, this group allegedly relied on fraudulent methods to secure these contracts. They bypassed normal procurement procedure, meaning they avoided the checks and balances that are supposed to make sure the public money is spent correctly. By doing this, they were able to steal millions of rands from the hospital, depriving patients of much needed resources. But the problem did not stop with these three major syndicates. The SIU also identified 6 smaller syndicates operating within Tembisa Hospital. While these groups are smaller, their actions still contribute to the massive financial losses. These smaller syndicates also use fake documents and found ways to avoid the normal rules for awarding contracts. In other words, they were able to funnel public funds to their own pocket rather than allowing the money used for the healthcare. When you look at the bigger picture, the combined actions of these syndicates just shows how deep and widespread corruption has become in South African public institutions. Millions and in some cases billions of rands meant for hospitals and healthcare services were stolen. This is just a case of isolated wrongdoing. It shows a systemic problem where multiple groups work together or in parallel to exploit weaknesses in the system and take advantage of public funds. When you piece all this together, the corruption, the tenders, the assassinations, it becomes painfully clear. Babita's murder wasn't an isolated tragedy. It was the beginning of a cover-up. She knew too much and she was silenced for it. Now, as the SIU continues to uncover billions lost to greed, it's starting to look like her death might be directly tied to the same people who live off the money she tried to protect. And that brings to us what's coming next. This investigation is far from over. In episode 2, we will be diving deep into the murder of Babita Deokaran. Who ordered the hit? Who carried it out? And how far this corruption network was willing to go to stay hidden. Because this story is not just about stolen money, it's also about stolen lives. This is Tembisa Files, a story of corruption bloody money, and justice still waiting to be served.